back to Black Bear News, where we are discussing climate change, abrupt climate change, and things adjacent. I'm trying something different with this video, and hopefully it won't be a colossal fail. Also, as I'm looking at my screen, everything is backwards. I guess that's how it's going to look in this particular video. Hopefully that does not throw you off. Maybe it does not matter. Anyways, we're going to continue talking about Extinction Rebellion today. But first, I'm going to read a comment from Imogen. From yesterday. Interesting to see the video in LA. Cheers. And as always, Kevin, you make a damn good base for discussion, you know. And I think it is a bit dim of me because I know that corporate or whatever powers that be design the system of power to make them intractable. But it still astounds me that we are at this point in a predicament of existence for the planet's life systems, and yet we stand mostly silent and divided. As a public mass, rather than forcing at least the outskirts of the powerful few out. They should be forced, along with elite and politicians, the disgustingly wealthy, to turn their money to the mitigation of global warming and its consequences, to building sustainable societies and informing the public clearly with plans for action in the face of extinction. And as always, we put ourselves first, but we are the ones who could make a difference for the rest of life on the planet. The outcome not being a conditional deal. Everything is filtered through the powers that be. Holly Hruska, I think she's addressing another commenter. They, the powers that be and the immorally rich, don't want to surrender their power or their luxurious high-emission lifestyles. If the global governments and those in power or positions of extraordinary privilege lost these positions, their status and our nightmare scape would be lost. And once the clarity of where we are heading fast spreads and reaches saturation point, their lives will also be at risk as rage takes hold. The downfall of those at the top of our human pyramid will topple, no doubt, as will infrastructure and essential resources such as food and water, medical care, and some sense of order in the face of violence. Assuming that it is global warming that remains the overriding threat to life. It is not superseded by nuclear war or natural catastrophe such as a ginormous sun flare, pandemic, or enormous meteor strike. Disembowelment of communities, the prison of the monetary paradigm, and as made clear recently by the arrest of Assange, filtration of truth to the masses, return to the burning of books, are all the positive feedbacks into their design. Will we as global population attempt realistically to change all of this in the disappearing time frame in which to do it? A commentator recently remarked the problem is simply too big. There's so many positive feedbacks already now playing in the field. Our species numbers and the divide between the have-it-alls and have virtually nothing grows wider and wider as emissions increase and mass extinction is underway. True words indeed. Thank you, Imogen, for that comment. That's going to be happening in the near future. The reality of climate change, the speed at which it is progressing, the exponential factor is going to escalate to the point where it will be undeniable, and it will become the leading problem in a lot of people's lives. It will be overwhelming. As we've seen, Canadian Prepper has come to the conclusion, yes, climate change is it's not only happening, it's real bad. More and more people are going to come to that conclusion. Will we change? Who knows? I will say this. I just watched the Bernie Sanders town hall on Fox News. And if you watch that, I urge you to watch it. If you watch that, you will know right now, Bernie Sanders is not only the front runner for the Democratic Party. Bernie Sanders, if the 2020 election were held today and was Bernie against Trump, Bernie would win in an overwhelming landslide. Overwhelming landslide. This is something that was broadcast on Fox News. Bernie shut the interviewers down, and everybody in the crowd was like, let's go right now. They were totally and completely behind him. People know listen, the only thing we got to do, Bernie Sanders will be the next president. The only thing we got to do is make sure that nothing gets in the way of that. not corporate media, not the corporate Democrats, no other shenanigans or games. Right now he's going to win the election. He would have won the election in 2016 had he not had the nomination stolen from him. That would have happened, absolutely. But that's over and done. That's water under the bridge. Hopefully. And listen, if Bernie Sanders were president, and let's say 2020 or 2021, he's president, and climate change is going in the direction that we know that it's going, he's the only person as a president that would, have the wherewithal to respond in a correct fashion to probably an extremely escalating problem at that point in time. We're talking about 2 years from now. We don't even know how much of our society is still going to be here in 2 years. Hopefully, most of it. Hopefully, 90% of it. Hopefully, things are still chugging along in normalcy land. I don't know. Things are not chugging along in normalcy land in Paraguay. Floods in Paraguay provoked the biggest crisis in 50 years. 50 years. Floods caused by the flooding of the Paraguay River left a total of 88,000 people homeless and caused one of the biggest crises in the country in the past 50 years, government sources reported Tuesday. This is from Prensa Latina. The catastrophe caused considerable damage in places located all along the Paraguay River, and the government decided to declare an environmental emergency. The latest statistics report 30,000 displaced people only in Asunción, while parks, streets, and other places are turning into improvised shelters because of the lack of housing for the affected people. Ivan Allende, director of the social department of the municipality of Asunción, told the newspaper La Nación this situation could continue until June and July due to the natural rise of the river and later to the October rains. Whoa. The official warned the state does not have available spaces with the basic conditions for the victims, and other sources assure that in some localities the government or the army rescue temas are not enough, or teams. Or maybe that's a typo, I don't know. That whole sentence looks a little bit wild. Anyway, so that's going on in Paraguay. So I'm trying to, obviously show you the articles. I'm going to show you guys some videos. Hopefully this does not lead to huge problems for me in the strike land. This is just a segue. What I'm doing right now with the video is a segue to getting some other software so that my videos look a little more like, ooh. Or maybe I'll just go back to the old way and I won't bother with it. Who knows? I'd like to try new things. Watch out for that mosquito. So let's move on to lots of Extinction Rebellion news. Actions and arrests on Waterloo Bridge. What does this sound like? Well, it sounds like a video buffering. That's what it sounds like. Here we go. Come on, guys. You can do it. So they have been going nuts, doing lots of actions in England. It's going swimmingly. There's lots of arrests happening. 300 arrested. I'm gonna link that below. Moving on to an article about Extinction Rebellion London protests, 290 arrested. Nearly 300 climate change activists have been arrested after roads were blocked in central London amid protests aimed at shutting the capital. A second day of disruption took place after Extinction Rebellion campaigners camped overnight at Waterloo Bridge, Parliament Square, and Oxford Circus. Up to 500,000 people were affected by the diversion of 55 bus routes. The Met said 290 people had been arrested during protests in Edinburgh. 29 arrests were made. Organizers said protests had been held in more than 80 cities across 33 countries. In London, motorists faced gridlock traffic on a number of alternative routes, such as Westminster Bridge and Blackfriars Bridge. Transport for London warned bus users that routes would remain on diversion or terminate early. Go Extinction Rebellion. They are shutting down business as usual. They're getting people's attention. Apparently, they're trying to shut down the tubes as well. A lot of these articles, Void linked a lot of these articles in the comment section. Thank you, Void. And here is moving on to a video. So in the UK, they're doing just like they do in the States, which is that, when they have somebody talking about climate change on, they just run them into the ground. They're like, what about the economy? What do you mean no air travel? What are you talking about? They're just like incredulous, and they try to make the person saying, listen, this is an emergency. They try to make that person sound ridiculous, as if a building was on fire and there are people trapped in the building, and you said, hey, the building's on fire, and the person is like, but how are we going to pay to get them out? Hold on, let me go talk to some people. Like, that's exactly what newscasters all over the globe are doing, but especially in the UK and the US, of course.
If we understand the severity of the issue, we would
give us some examples.
We would rapidly
What happens to air travel? What happens to foreign holidays?
We would only use air travel in emergencies.
Only use air travel in emergencies,
We can create mass city farms, solar panels, these things that can be done, but are not being done because people don't understand.
Okay, so no holidays, no foreign travel, no foreign business.
The issue is about life and death.
No, I'm just asking you. That's what you're saying.
I understand, and I'm thinking about my brother. I'm thinking about the fact that me and him might not be able to have food in the future because we're facing starvation.
Speaking of food, no meat consumption by 2025, is that right?
I'm talking about mass starvation. I'm talking about
No, I'm asking you a question.
My future.
You're here to answer questions. Does that mean no meat consumption by 2025?
So clearly, this guy is just, they're not even on the, it's like two people standing in two different rooms talking about two different things. Right? Like there's a willful misunderstanding on the part of, the elder gentleman. He's willfully trying to misunderstand what this guy is saying. And he's saying, listen, we're talking about life and death. And he's doing everything in his power not to call this guy an idiot, a clod, an arsehole. He's doing, you can see it in his eyes. He's just like, ooh, this motherfucker. Incredible. Just incredible. Here's something in 62 arrested after Extinction Rebellion stages die-in outside of New York City Hall to demand climate action. Go Extinction Rebellion in New York City. This is from today.
Extinction Rebellion. We're joining rebels all over the world, standing up for climate change. We need to declare a climate emergency and take swift action to change the course of its human history right now. We're about to get arrested. We've been blocking this road, and we're here to show New York City that we're serious, that we need to do something now, and we need to do something fast about climate change.
Good on them. I'm hoping that the LA Extinction Rebellion can do some similar actions. I don't know if that's what they're planning for Monday, but hopefully so. We'll see. I would like to be down there, and I'd like to be part of it if possible. Whatever it is that's going on. Lastly, I'm going to finish up this article with something brand new from Arctic News. Let's check this out. How long do we have? This is from today. The March 2019 temperature is in line with earlier analysis that 2019 could be 1.85 C warmer than pre-industrial, and that a rapid temperature rise could take place soon, as illustrated by the image below. Here you go. Here's the line. See this line? Zoop. A catastrophe of unimaginable proportions is unfolding. Life is disappearing from Earth, and all life could be gone within a decade. At 5 C of warming, most life on Earth will have disappeared. When looking at near-term human extinction, 3 C will likely suffice. Study after study is showing the size of the threat, yet many people seem out to hide what we're facing. The above image asks, how long do we have? The image is created with NASA LOTI data, adjusted 0.78C to reflect a 1750 baseline ocean air temperature and higher polar anomaly. Trends are added based on the 1880 to 2019 purple and 2000 to 2019 data red. The long-term purple trend points at 2025 as the year when 3C rise from pre-industrial could be crossed. And then that's, 3C is done. Done and dusted, as Roger Hallam likes to say. While the red trend focuses on short-term events, shows how a 3C rise from pre-industrial could be reached as early as 2020. Hold on. Let me get back there. Yes, it looks like that could be approached by 2020. So here we are, 2019, almost at 2C. 2020, 2C proper. 2021, almost pushing 3C. I don't know how we get to 3C by 2020. But anyways, I'm going to link this below. It's pretty short. That's the whole thing. I'll link it below. You can check it out for yourself. That's about all I have for you in this video. Thank you so much for your eyes, your ears, and your conscience. If you would like to support this channel, you can do so at the links below. Until next time, peace. And how do I stop this is the question. I know how.